How's it going, gamers? Welcome to Gamer Rant. My name's Kevin. Today we are talking about Immortals of Aveum. Proves it's a grim time for single-player games. Perhaps it's corporate delusion that makes leadership think a needlessly large budget makes for a better game, but making adequate money back on a big budget blockbuster to satisfy the shareholders is becoming more difficult. I would say that this is a large issue right here. To me, I look at it as if you spend more time trying to satisfy the gamers, more than likely, if you do that, you will then satisfy the shareholders. Because you satisfy the gamers, you're going to make money. But the one thing Electronic Arts, which is the publisher of the game, has ultimately proven time and time again is that, well, they're more about the shareholders rather than the art or rather than the people that play the games. And when they've done this so many times, I think it's starting to have this negative stigma on the publisher, which then affects the developer. They revealed that the game's budget was around $125 million between development cost and publisher Electronic Arts marketing distribution expenses, but became the game undersold. It was impossible to recoup the high cost. It's not a sequel or a remake. It doesn't take 400 hours to beat, has 0 microtransactions, no pointless open world grinding, said a current Ascendant employee to IGN. Although not everyone loved it, it reviewed pretty well currently, sitting at 74 on OpenCritic and mostly positive on Steam. No one bought it. Now, the irony of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you actually go to Steam, it is on 60% discount currently. All right? So normally they are trying to sell it for $60, 60% off, $23, or the deluxe, which ironically is $70 and is now $27.99. So the difference between these two is only basically $4. I think that says a lot right there. But again, I don't think it has anything to do with the budget or the fact that it has a lack of microtransactions. Because another thing that you need to take into account is Electronic Arts is known for saying one thing and then doing something else a few months down the road, 3 months, 6 months. And the game that wasn't going to have microtransactions now has microtransactions because they decided to wait after the reviews to give that positive look and then shove it down there. They've done that. And I think that is also starting to catch up to them, hopefully. Budgets are increasing for single-player games, but nothing else about the market has changed to compensate outside of developers frequently bolting microtransactions onto the side of the project. Well, all of this, you know, the budgets, that's the problem of the developer and the publisher. That has nothing to do with us. So if they want to go hard and heavy to try to please the shareholders, and then they epically fail, I, as a gamer, good. You deserve to fail. Even if Immortals of Aveum isn't a huge open-world game, its budget still seems to be aspiring for something larger in scope than the game could reach. Perhaps not every game needs to aspire to cutting-edge visual fidelity, and by saving money on graphics can make back its budget without relying on multiplayer and live service elements. Shorter, more streamlined experiences made a profit much more easily 20 years ago, but as budgets increase without feasible return, the entire business model is collapsing under the weight. Bullshit. This is an uneducated person that wrote this because, I mean, Baldur's Gate 3, which ironically only had $25 million less of a budget than this game we're currently talking about. And that sold massively well. You look at Elden Ring. There's another example. All right. When you make and design your game for gamers rather than shareholders, what is it going to do? If it pleases the gamers, it's also going to please the shareholder because it's being bought, it's being enjoyed. Now, with that being said, let's actually, and this is where I get the information for Baldur's Gate 3's budget, which was this article. Baldur's Gate 3 budget was $100 million. Let's check out the trailer for this game.
Jack. We're out of time.
Trying to be the best, but you can't come close to the power in my fist.
Everyone that can fight already is. And we're still losing.
So I actually remember this trailer, and To me, the first turnoff was the music for the trailer. Like, it sounded like it should be in a Madden or a FIFA trailer, not this fantasy sci-fi game right here. It doesn't match the aesthetic. It's a turnoff to me. And because of that, it makes me question what kind of music is in the game. Because, yes, I'm not going to sit here and buy the game to take a chance to see if the music matches the aesthetic when they can't even do it for the trailer. Why should I give them the time of day when they objectively take a song that doesn't match the aesthetic of the actual game?
The last immortal.
Horrible music.
Schedule up.
For this video game. And like you could look at this trailer. The trailer itself does not get me or want me to get the game, even at its current discount that we see it at on Steam. It's like it doesn't interest me. And you look at the mostly positive right there, but ultimately that's not a lot of reviews. So like even if these were mostly positive, it really wouldn't get me to get the game. They do have a demo. Maybe I'll try the demo out. I'll give them that one. All right, at least they have a demo. That's a positive thing. But, outside of the game, the overall concept of the article. Immortals of Aveum does not prove it's a grim time for single-player games. It's a grim time if you're trying to please the investors and the shareholders rather than the gamers, because then that becomes a fault of your own. I would also say that when you look at the trailer, the music didn't match the aesthetic of the game. It totally took me out of it. It's like, I have no interest in this. Also, what we're seeing doesn't really interest me within of itself. And I think this is something that game developers need to be aware of, that this isn't just about you making money. This is also about an interest in me as the gamer, as the consumer, us. And if your trailer can't even get me interested in it, then that's a fault of you and not me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about the bullshit in gaming, microtransactions, loot boxes, and all that other bullshit, or speaking up against gamers that will literally complain about microtransactions and then in the same statement admit that they purchased them, yeah, I have a video on that. It'll be around here somewhere. You just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.